Come on, come all, to the Three Houses, Three Perspectives video. Welcome to our channel, Wow You're Really Bad At, and today we thought we'd do something a little bit different by, instead of playing a game, talking about a game, because we don't do that enough.
This time, instead of being bad at the game, we're going to give it back to you.
Precisely. So, instead of just Noah and Gabe, today we are joined by another very special guest.
Hello, my name is Elijah.
His name's Elijah. He's our other brother, and we wanted to do this video to give our take on Fire Emblem Three Houses, which was released last year. Now, the three of us have played, and we actually all are in the middle of playing with our own playthroughs of Fire Emblem Three Houses. Some have finished all the routes, some have finished one, some haven't finished any. And we're going to discuss what we think of the game from these different perspectives, giving not only our take on based on where we are in the game, but our history with the franchise as a whole. So, you guys ready?
Sure.
Yeah!
Cool. Let's go. First, we're going to talk about us, the introductions, so our own personal history with Fire Emblem, because I feel like this is an important thing to discuss in discussing Three Houses, if it's our first game, if it's our second game, or whatever. So we're going to start with Noah. So this is the order we're going in. We're going to go Noah, Elijah, and Gabe. So Noah, first off with you. What is your history with Fire Emblem? Just short and sweet. Give us a few sentences. What is your history of Fire Emblem in regards to Junior?
Three Houses.
So, okay, just again. Noah, what is your history of Fire Emblem in regards to Fire Emblem Three Houses? As in, is it your first game? Is it your second game?
Fire Emblem Three Houses is not my first game.
Gasp!
No, honestly, my very first game was Fire Emblem Heroes.
Scrub.
Yeah. And then I eventually went on to Fate's Conquest. Apologies to anyone who likes Fates. And then I moved on to the GBA games, Blazing Sword, Sacred Stones on emulators. Those are great. And then I got Awakening. It was very enjoyable. And then once they announced Three Houses, I was incredibly excited. It was going to release by the new year, got delayed to spring, and then it got delayed to the summer. Man, I really delved off topic.
Now you're good. That's exactly what we want to hear. What about you, Elijah?
Don't have as much history with Fire Emblem as these two dweebs do.
Excuse me?
I never really had a beginning interest in Fire Emblem. My brother Gabriel was the one who always did, he was the one who played the most, and we just did some passing conversations about it. Until he got Fire Emblem Fate's Conquest, and I was like, you know what, sure, I'll try it. I didn't like it, and I sucked at it. So I didn't play a Fire Emblem game since. Until Three Houses, actually. Which was technically my first full Fire Emblem game that I played and finished at least one route in.
Which route was that?
It was Blue Lions. Don't have any experience with anything else. I don't count Fire Emblem Heroes as a Fire Emblem real actual Fire Emblem game. Yeah, Three Houses is the first game I've actually done a lot of, and I really liked it because I like the gameplay, the visuals, the characters, all of it.
Awesome. So, since this is your first game, would you say that you are now a fan of killing every last one of them?
Yes.
Alrighty, so let's move on to our next topic is the story.
What about you?
Oh crap.
What is your history with Fire Emblem?
Gabe.
So my history with Fire Emblem is I played when I've explained this before, a sophomore in high school years ago. My first game was Sacred Stones. And as of right now, I've never beat Sacred Stones, and I haven't beat a lot of the games, but I've played a lot of them. Whether that be problems with emulators or just being away for a while that I wasn't able to complete them. But I have finished Conquest, Shadows of Valentia, and Awakening. So, the main 3DS games. And right now with Three Houses, I am the only one of these three that has not yet finished a route. And which is why this video is titled Three Perspectives. We've got one who has finished many of the games, Noah, and who has played all the routes.
Two of the routes.
Two, you haven't.
2 out of 4.
And we have Elijah, who has played only one route. This is his very first time ever
actually getting deeper into a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah, and then me, who has a love for the older games, even though, I've only beaten the 3DS ones, GBA games are really there in my heart hole. So now we're going to get into our next topic, which is the story.
Wow.
So fellas, just what do you think? What are its weaknesses and strengths? And we're going to be going off the same formula: Noah, then Elijah, then Gabe.
In my experience, when I played all the other Fire Emblem games, I'd say that this story is leagues above. Well, first of all, Awakening and Fates, and it's much more complex than many others. There's so many aspects of the game that are all connected, and you have to play all the routes to fully understand everything in the story. So I'd say it's very, very good. One of the best stories in the series.
Cool. What about you, Elijah?
So, as an outsider, I believe the story is one of the strongest I've ever seen. I love how every single facet of the story is linked to all the others in some fashion, whether it could be by multiple steps, or it could be relations that you never expected to occur, such as how many people were affected by the tragedy of Dusker, those who slither in the dark and what they've done, and how this whole network of interlaced actions, ideas, and events, the world feels more real. The real world that we live in is even more so complex, but this is very close to being almost real. Lots of good themes too.
Awesome. So, yeah, I really appreciate the things you guys were saying, and I can definitely agree. It's one of the stronger stories that has come out of Fire Emblem in recent years. Since I am not even halfway done with one route, I can't give my full thoughts yet on what I think about the story, but knowing as it draws inspiration from Genealogy of the Holy War, the politics in the story are quite complex compared to other games. For example, we're gonna trash it again. Fates. No politics, it's just garbage and it's just sad. But in this one, it's very complex and compelling, and a lot you learn from the interactions between characters.
On a side note, from what I know of Fates, it seems like you choose a side, and then from there you are put painted as entirely the good person. It seems a lot more shallow.
Everybody loves you no matter what you do.
Man, we really love trashing on Fates.
This video is turning into less of a Three Houses retrospective and more of a let's trash Fates.
The premise of Fates: choose your adopted family who you've lived with your entire life, or your birthright family. That is a very good premise, and it's just not executed very well.
Exactly. So since we're talking about, we won't go too off topic talking about Fates the entire time, but I do want to talk about the different paths that you can take. And if you all see the ability to choose different paths as a positive or negative thing in this story, because we see in Fates it didn't work out very well and it was just overall kind of a mess. Does it work in this game, and if so, how and why?
Yes, it really does. Having to choose a house and then later on having to kill the other houses. Whoa, that's heavy. But you can recruit some of the students to your house if you want to save them, but I did not do that my first time because I didn't know I could. So I killed everyone else. Kind of sad. And yeah, it really hits me.
Until you choose someone else to follow. You get to see that not everyone is right, there is no one single right person or one single wrong person. It is as complex as the history of Poland is. The allegiances, the ties, the way everything comes together. And that's why, for the second bullet, I actually think there are no weaknesses to the story.
You can't fully experience the game until you've actually done it all.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I will say, just to go along with what you guys were saying, the different perspectives and the different viewpoints are something that really help this game to be interesting and intriguing. The different ideals and morals that are in conflict. And that's something that a good Fire Emblem game does, is when there are morals in conflict and make the player actually think and really have to decide, what do they believe in? It's something that really examines not only the characters in the game, but yourself as a player. And so, since we're talking about characters, we're going to go into that now. Boom, characters. We're talking about our favorites, least favorites, your thoughts on character design, and if you could be in the game, what type of character would you be like? Or maybe who would you be like?
I'd say my favorite character is...
Also,
Wait,
real quick, we have this, which portrays the characters before and after the time skip, some bad guys, and just some. There's like a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, like I'd say almost everyone's my favorite character because they're all so well. They have great designs. They're all very handsome and hot. And the personalities are great, and their arcs, how they develop, is very compelling as well. I like Edelgard. Edelgard's cool. I also like Claude, and don't forget Dimitri. And I can't forget Ferdinand, Hubert, Linhart, Caspar, Bernadette. Emphasis on Bernadetta, and Lysithea, and Marianne, and Hilda, and Flame, and Mercedes.
Alright, cut it.
And Petra.
Alright, what about you, Elijah? Who are your favorite characters?
And Felix.
I'll be honest, it really is easy to name the characters I do not like. First, I like all the characters and the designs except for a select few. The majority of characters have great designs, interesting characters, and also good enough units. I'll just name the people I don't like whatsoever. First is Lorenz.
Yep.
Obviously.
And then I would have to say Gilbert. He just doesn't strike me as an interesting person. And Cyril. He's too focused on Rhea.
Yeah.
Oh, and also I hate Rhea, not by her character, but by her actions.
Can you explain why you hate these characters so much?
Lorenz, his hair and his attitude. The hair is merely the tip of the iceberg.
And even in game, he's not good. Like I've played the Golden Deer route, and he was just. No, he's just not good.
Okay, I think we've done enough Lorenz dunking for now.
Lorenz is the new Fates.
Oh
Ouch.
no.
Oh, that's a low blow.
I don't like Cyril because almost every single word that comes out of his mouth has something to do with Rhea.
That is true.
And it grinds on my gears.
But like, have you seen her hips though?
Like you're right. Oh my gosh, you're right.
I understand why. That guy's going places.
He's 14.
He knows what he wants, and he's gonna go for it.
He's 14.
Technically, he will be going places, but if Rhea does, she'll be going to jail. Why I don't like Rhea is because she's literally insane.
Yeah, you know, it happens, man.
She over-abuses her power and commits many selfish acts and keeps the continent of Fieldland really under her what's the word?
Heel?
Under her heel. Next.
Alright, so for me, seeing as I'm looking at this list right now and I don't recognize maybe half of these people.
Yeah.
Mostly like in the middle. I mean, I recognize Baby Dimitri.
Oh
and
yeah,
Baby Edelgard.
Dimitri and Baby Edelgard is so cute.
But who's the handlebar mustache guy?
Which one?
I don't know. So seeing as how I don't recognize many of these people, right now the people that I do like, I like most of the people. Yeah, personal favorites I would say. Bernadette, yeah, she's up there.
Bernadetta.
Yeah, Bernadette, my bad. One thing that Noah and I were talking about is how you just have this urge to protect her. When a character makes you feel something like that, like dang, I have to watch out for this fake pixelated thing. You know the game's doing a pretty good job. And since I'm doing a Black Eagles run, Petra, she's great. I love her little quirks.
Petra is like fantasy Starfire.
Yeah, exactly. Caspar and his fighting spirit is always fun. Edelgard has ideals, and she's willing to fight for those ideals. Her whole point is to create equality.
Through violence.
Through violence, yeah, but she has ideals and she fights for them. It's not just oh no, I'm a lord and there's war and I don't want to fight, but I'm going to do it anyway to protect my people. There's a lot more depth. And one thing I like about these characters is the depth, really. They're not just like from Awakening, they just have one trait or aspect about them. I think of Kellum. I was getting so tired of Kellum.
I felt bad for him.
He jokes around about not being seen, that's his whole gimmick.
But that's the only thing he talks about.
But that's the thing, it's a gimmick. And all of his supports, and even when you're in the barracks, every time he's talking, it's just him not being seen. There's no other depth to him other than that. But in this, the characters have interesting backgrounds, they have depth. Except for Lorenz. I don't know his background and I don't want to know it. Because uninteresting and I hate his haircut. And so people I don't like, obviously Lorenz. Felix, not a fan. Because
he's a tsundere.
He's just a jerk. just a jerk, and I don't have a lot of respect for people that are just jerks.
I was just thinking maybe Cyril would fit in Awakening with his singular personality trait.
What's also good about the characters is that you don't get like random characters you don't know that pop up over time. You know all the characters that are recruitable like right from the get-go. Yeah, and you already have like access to, you can already use all of your students because in every single other Fire Emblem game, good for you. Here's a random character that has a blank personality. They're yours to fight. Time to toss them in the pyre where all your other troops are lying and use it like the only 10 good units you have.
I'm kind of doing that with my run. I'm just before the time skip occurred, I took in almost everybody in the entire school into my house just so that they wouldn't die later.
Alright, the last question then, if you could be in the game, what type of character would you be like? Or who do you most associate yourself with? Either of the two.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one.
I appreciate Raphael's appetite, but I cannot match his physique.
Not yet.
Probably not ever. Unless I decide to go crazy. Like crazy workout, I mean.
Maybe Claude. Claude for me.
You think so?
Yeah.
I was thinking Claude for me.
Claude passed my mind, but I decided no. I agree with his ideals, but I don't match his personality.
Yeah. I mean, he has the similar ideals to Edelgard, but he doesn't,
No war.
He doesn't do war.
Oh heck, is he like the lords from earlier games? I don't want this war, but I'm gonna do it. Then again, he was planning this from the beginning, in like a weird, crazy big scheme.
Yeah, he's a schemer. He doesn't do war. All three of the lords in this game, they all have ideals they want to achieve. Edelgard and Claude have very similar ones, except Edelgard takes the more violent path.
I just chose Claude because I think he's goofy and charming, and I like to think that I'm goofy and charming. Alright, so moving on. Next topic is the gameplay. I wanted to talk more about the RPG elements, the relationships, the exploration, the wandering around, the cooking, and all those things that are not as prevalent in older Fire Emblem games, but something that have slowly increased in recent games. So what are your guys' thoughts on these RPG elements? Do they belong in a Fire Emblem game? Are they good? Do they enhance the story or not?
I'd say it works really well. It does very well with running around the monastery, the relationships, the supports are very good. Very clever. And I do have to say, I want to talk about skills for a second. This game, skills have more of a prevalence than the 3DS games, but not so much as heroes. But there's a good balance between the stats, between the importance of stats and skills, but you will focus on stats more so. So I'd say the balance of it is well executed.
So about the RPG elements, I think that the inclusion of the exploration and more developed supports and such, building on what came from Awakening and such, I think it is a grand idea, because with this, is it true that in previous Fire Emblem games you wouldn't have as much of a connection to other characters?
Right, so not every character could have support conversations with another. It was only at Awakening that every character could support with another.
Well, here in Three Houses, not every character can support with every character still. But I do like it because it lets you see the characters as more than just pieces on a game board. You sacrifice a pawn with no issue, but you're not going to throw Bernadette into the meat grinder because of all the relationships and such that we've had with Bernadette in game. Every time you talk to her, anytime you talk to any character, anytime you watch support, all of that, it makes you more invested in the game because people like drama and relationship stuff. Why do you think there are so many drama shows on TV?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I guess this is where we kind of differ in opinion, because this is where we see the three different perspectives. Because for me, the RPG elements are enjoyable, but there is an aspect of it that doesn't make it seem very Fire Emblem-ish. One of the things that was hardest for me about Awakening and even Echoes, just the games where you can travel around a map and there's lots of distance between chapters, it's kind of hard to follow the story, I found. Because you get around grinding or there's other things in between that make it difficult to follow the story. I know with Awakening, I was lost at some points. And it's not that complex of a story, but because there were such big gaps in between, I guess, it was hard to follow. And with right now in Three Houses, I will say they did it better, but I am still kind of lost on the story. Even though it's a good one and I'm excited to learn more about it. The RPG elements make it kind of difficult to focus on this story when there's lots of other little things going on. But I will say, I think that they did it very well. They incorporate the story much into the dialogue of the RPG so that you never forget what's going on, which is why I appreciate it more than games like Awakening, where you're walking around the monastery and you talk with people and they discuss the problems going on or the mission that's coming up next and the little conversations that you have together. So I really appreciate that. Having the relationship aspect, that's always fun. Little RPG shipping goodness for you, if you will. I for one prefer the old school Fire Emblem GBA games, or even Conquest, where you go from one chapter to another, and the supports happen during the battle. It's always just felt more fluid to me.
I am biased in this idea because in any game I play or any book I read, any type of entertainment, I value the characters and the story most other facets. What I look for in most things is a really good story that strikes a chord deep within you.
And we're on the same page. Characters and story are important to me. And what Three Houses does well is that it's a story written where the game has to be this way. You can't take away all the RPG elements and have the same game. It just wouldn't be a good game. It would be confusing and complex, but the RPG elements make it good for this kind of game. Now, next we're going to talk about the difficulty. How do you feel about the difficulty?
If you want, in my personal experience, I have always done it on hard mode because...
He's no scrub!
Because what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've experienced, normal mode is just, in my view, just too easy. Which is why I always do hard mode, which is a good challenge. I tried maddening mode once. It did not go well.
You died horribly.
Yes, I deleted my save because it was too hard. That's the scrub part. And I would say it'd be nice if they could make the normal difficulty a bit higher because it just looks too easy for me. At least you can do like a normal run on normal if you want, but if you're doing like a new game plus, then you just kind of have to feel obligated to do it on hard mode because new game plus is incredibly powerful.
For the difficulty, I'm just a normal player. Like I play on normal. The real reason I play this is just because I want to experience the story. I love great stories and characters, so I focus on that. So I don't really choose to have a really difficult playthrough.
Yeah. For me, I started this game on normal mode because I had just gotten back into Fire Emblem after a 2-year hiatus, and I didn't know what to expect, so I started normal mode. Can you change the difficulty in-game, actually?
No, you can lower it, but you can't bring it back up.
Well, that's too bad, because that's what I would like to do. Because it does seem too easy, and the battles seem repetitive and kind of boring, but the fact that they added in those giant monster things, whatever the heck they are, with the multiple health bars, that is a cool element that adds a level of difficulty to it.
Along with the use of gambits.
Yes, those things are fun.
They're a real game changer, both for the enemy and for yourself.
I love the battalions so much. It really makes it feel like an actual war, an actual battle, instead of like one person dinking at one other person in what's supposed to be a worldwide conflict. It just feels bigger, and like the battles they're just bigger. It's great.
Your characters are more like the leaders of squadrons.
Yeah,
that part I can definitely agree with. That's something that I appreciate a whole lot. Emphasizes this is a war going on. And people are dying. As you see your battalion dying behind you, you're like, oh no!
That is intense.
Yeah. All right, cool. So what changes would you guys make? Just give me one example so we can move on.
Can I give 2?
No.
2.
No.
I'm making it 2. Make it harder. Second one, in the monastery, I wish there were more things I could do. Honestly, because there have been a few days where I'm like, I have nothing to do. Time to eat a bunch of food.
Yeah, I just have like 5 meals with my friends.
Yeah.
So they can like me.
We're not rationing food for the war, right?
No.
For changes I would make, I don't really have any. Sorry to disappoint, but I don't have any because I don't have much of a reference to back it on.
One thing I guess that I would change is the camera. It's kind of bothersome for me. It's so close up, and now when I play, I usually zoom out once so I can see more, like in the older Fire Emblem games. It just seems too close, and I don't get the full scale of everything. And I'm okay. Well, the problem with that is you zoom out, but the portraits of the characters still stay little. So you can't. It's still hard to see where they are, and you're almost forced to zoom in. If when you zoom out and it shows the character portraits even larger, so you can identify them more easily, that would be preferable. All right, moving on. The music.
God-shattering stop.
Nice.
The music in past games have been top notch, and I really think Three Houses does a pretty good job as well with the music. And I really enjoy the battle music, the calming music. The music really fits. The music really fits the situation it's in.
And Tearing Through the Heaven, that song, it reminds you every time of Gerald. It makes you sad.
I don't know what that means, and now I'm kind of afraid.
I'm sorry, Corey. That's kind of a spoiler.
Dang it.
I mean, I already know he's not gonna make it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, no one's told me. I haven't read anything, but it's just assumed.
He has the personality and the story prevalence
Of a guy
to be
that's
a
going to
dying
die.
king. Yes.
Yeah, for me, I love the battle preparation music. It pumps me up, and I also like the Edelgard's song, I think.
Oh, Edge of Dawn.
Yeah, that one. That one, I love that one. And I'll listen to that just whenever. So one thing that's interesting is the music is not as classical as it was. Like, Awakening has some very beautiful classical music with an orchestra, but this incorporates, like, some, I don't want to say dubstep elements, but some...
Dubstep, yes.
Some techno.
Shambhala.
Yeah, exactly. There's that whole map with the dubstep track, and there's like beats that you can hear in the different songs. I remember playing this, a little jarring, but how do you guys feel about that? Do those aspects of it fit the mood of a fantasy-like game?
Yes.
Are you talking about Shambhala?
In general, because if you listen to other ones, you can hear the beat, like a techno beat.
Yeah, I really like it, yeah.
It shoots emotions through my veins.
It really feels
Like heroin.
Said better.
It's kind of hard to explain. It just matches it. It just works.
That I can definitely agree with. The music is top-notch, despite that it might not seem on the surface like a typical Fire Emblem soundtrack. It is definitely one that's worthy of the title. All right, last one. Final thoughts. Would you like to see more Fire Emblem games made in this style? That is to say, with the RPG elements, the storytelling, and the separate paths. That's the biggest part, I would say. The separate paths. Is it possible to make a game like Three Houses again? And if so, how?
I think a very good game that would work well in this style would be a remake of Genealogy of the Holy War.
Yeah.
Because the maps are gigantic. Like, holy crap, it'll take you like a week to finish like the first chapter. And it just, with such a large scale conflict, battalions would work well in that situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Like armies advancing, going to different towns throughout the country. Be able to run around and do stuff. That would be pretty cool if it works. And I wouldn't say Genealogy would work with the paths. I mean, I haven't played it, but as far as I know, it's a remake, so it'd have to stick to its original story at least. Well, as much as it could with this style. So, yeah, let's say remake of Genealogy.
Bring it on!
Remake it now!
What about you, Elijah?
I would like to see more Fire Emblem games in this style, because I thoroughly enjoyed this one, and I would like to enjoy new fresh stories. In addition, I want more weapons made out of God's bones.
Hey.
Yeah.
And her children's bones.
Yeah, for me, I definitely appreciate this game a lot. But there is the question if this could really be done again. Let's take Fire Emblem Fates again. Let's trash this game one more time.
Yeah.
Good! Because Fates introduced you have a base that you run around and you talk to people and you do things, right?
Yeah.
But it sucked. It was boring.
Yeah.
But this game does it right. It's a monastery, it's an academy. It just feels right that you're walking around talking to people. The whole thing just fits well within the story. And I don't really know how they could do that in other games or what they would do to give you that same feeling.
Also, it's 3D.
3D!
It's also 3D. So I would like to see more games built with the amount of care and love that Three Houses received.
Perhaps in a future Fire Emblem game, if they were to keep up the same setup, like with the home base, if they were a traveling warband, it could be that the base is more just a camp that you would visit and run around in,
Ooh,
the same way you would in Three Houses.
That would be cool.
I agree with that. That'd be a good way to do it. And you can go around and do tasks like cut down trees, make a fire instead of make food instead of teaching lessons.
Well, like,
you can teach skills in the woods. That's pretty cool.
or if you force your soldiers to do all that.
Yeah. You're listening, intelligence systems? We have all the ideas. Please hire us.
You totally are watching us, right?
Ah!
Alright, so thank you guys for joining me with this Three Houses, Three Perspectives video, idea, thing that I had. I just want to say that I really appreciate you guys' thoughts and how you've made me even more excited to play through this game. And I need to go play right now, actually, before time runs out.
You need to go play right now.
I need to go play right now.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll be back. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!
Bye!